Welcome to the 10th OCEN Openhouse session, and this is the third one for OCEN 4.0. So if you've been listening to these sessions, you know by now that we are talking about business loans to MSMEs, and we believe that these business loans should be short tenor in nature, because that's the only way to cover the large MSME segment, which is not eligible for a 1-year working capital limit. We believe that these loans and this lending should be profitable to the players that are involved in it, and yet they should offer a low interest rate to the borrowers. You also know that we believe that this involves using remote lending, which means a lender in Jaipur should be able to give a loan to somebody in Tirupur or somebody in Meerut. But we also believe that there are local agents that would be involved, and these would be involved for KYC, for disbursement, for collections, for derived data, and this kind of a system is what we are describing when we refer to something with OCEN, frankly. So you know all this because we've covered this in the first 3 open house sessions. So today we are going to talk to you really about a new type of a loan agent. And this loan agent actually brings the lending to life. And this is somebody who works for the borrower, is a borrower's agent, not a lender's agent. And so this is what the discussion today is really about. And we think this borrower's agent will be, one of the 2 heroes of this new MSME lending ecosystem that we are talking about. Of course, one hero will be the lender itself, right? And but the other hero in this equation will be the borrower's agent. So what does the borrower's agent do? What are the roles that they have to play? What are the jobs that they have? And how would they also make money? Those are some of the issues that we will tackle here, not only by telling you about it, but also bringing 2 borrower's agent to the fore and having them talk about what they propose to do in their respective markets. So as you know, our recommendation is relatively straightforward. If you have a balance sheet, become a lender. And if you don't have a balance sheet, then instead of being a hapless agent of the lender, consider becoming a borrower's agent. And, you'll have a lot to do, but then you will have respect in the system and you will end up making some money as well. So this is really the proposition that we are going to share with you in more detail today. As you know, everything that India Stack has done has been in some ways creating a new type of player. So if you go to payment systems, traditionally they were about custodians of money, doing things so that payment moves from one custodian to the other. What UPI did was to bring a new type of player into the picture, and that's the payment app, right? And you know all these players already, so I don't need to tell you about that. So data sharing was about FIPs and FIUs. What Account Aggregator did was to bring the consent manager, which is called the license holder of the NBFC account aggregator, the account aggregator, to the fore. And what OCEN does is to bring the borrower agent to the table, in addition to lenders and their agents that have already existed in the ecosystem. So we think this is a very, very compelling role. It's a linchpin, in fact, for the network that is being built. And it is something that was going to be critical for the ecosystem, and it's going to be a terrific business opportunity for fintechs. So with that opening, let me hand you over to one of our power volunteers, Rahul. Over to you, Rahul.
Thanks for the introduction. So at OCEN 4.0, we are on a mission to make small ticket short tenor MSME loans reasonable and profitable. So small ticket short tenor loans for MSMEs are the stepping stones for an inclusive economy and is the need of the hour to solve the credit demand gap for the small and micro entrepreneurs. OCEN 4.0 is an attempt to shift from the first box to the third box by making these loans available at reasonable rates and in a profitable way. It is an opportunity to solve a very hard problem, and that is, how do you make money in small ticket short tenor loans with multiple costs involved, right from acquisition, processing, disbursing, collecting, and managing the regulatory compliances. But now with the borrower's agent role as a center point of OCEN 4.0, this argument does not hold true anymore. With existing relationships in his network, there is a strong shift towards profitability and affordability. Let's look at in the next slide how the sachet loans could be affordable and profitable. Let's understand what are the drivers of affordability and profitability. Processing of loans require multiple services like bureau pull, KYC validation, account aggregator data, e-sign on documentation, ENAC for repayment, etc. Prices of availing these services have seen a decline over the last many years, and these services are getting commoditized. And these will reduce further in the coming years. With an increasing volume, the loan processing cost keeps getting lower and is clearly visible in the trendline chart, ensuring profitability at scale. If you look at per loan cost, it reduces by more than 50% with the economies of scale. So what drives the viability of such sachet loans? It is the borrower agent who makes small ticket short tenure loans viable for the network participants. And how he does it? It starts with the fact that he builds a network focused on the needs of the borrower cohort. Right products, best offers, and the borrower's trust helps improve the overall conversion right from the lead till disbursement. He does it by executing multiple outsourced lender functions, like being a derived data provider, an escrow agent, a collections agent, which reduce the overall cost for the loans and making them more viable. His role allows the lender to go remote, so providing remote access to a cohort of borrowers without having the lender to set up a branch or an office, thereby making the loans more affordable. And the fact that this is very much possible can be understood from the GEM Sahay pilot. GEM as a borrower's agent is a classic example with rupees 160 as a minimum ticket size, average loan size ranging around 44,000 with a tenure as low as 55 days to 110 days. The rate of interest has been hovering around 14.7% and is expected to further reduce in favor of the borrowers. Now let's look at how the borrower's agent is the hero of OCEN. He is the catalyst of success of OCEN 4.0, who not just leverages his existing connection, he is the only one who builds the trust by providing the best offers aligned to the interest of the borrowers by being a representative of the borrowers. And by building this trust, he enables the lender to provide affordable loans by executing many outsourced lender functions, like being a derived data provider, which helps in understanding and product creation, being an escrow agent, being a collections agent. By stitching the network together as a local partner, he helps the lender to go remote in a very affordable manner. Doing all these four functions makes the borrower agent the linchpin of the network. Now, what's the difference between a loan agent and a borrower agent? So, loan agent acts as a borrower's agent as well as a lender's representative, and its interest could be aligned to that of a lender or could be of the borrower. But in case of a borrower's agent, his interest is fully aligned to that of the borrowers, getting the best offers and deals in the multi-lender auction-based model. Being a lender's agent may not be always in the interest of the borrowers, as it is a conflicting state, and he gets incentivized and remunerated by the lender. And we have experienced this in the mutual fund industry, where the transition from being an agent of the fund house to being an advisor of the investor has helped the overall ecosystem to adopt best practices. Hence, a borrower's agent being remunerated by the borrower will always ensure the best offers. And the borrowers, we visualize the future of the MSME lending ecosystem, which is the transition journey from a DSA or a loan agent to a borrower's agent. In terms of representation of a lender to that of a borrower, in terms of the activities involved, where a DSA was only involved in acquisition, to a borrower agent who, along with acquisition, is also involved in multiple lending activities, lending functions, creating a scalable ecosystem, which was a difficult task in a DSA role, but a transition to being a borrower agent can build highly scalable multi-lender auction network. With OCEN, massive scale is possible, and one should start thinking of changing the mind state to transition from being a DSA or a loan agent to being a borrower's agent. It involves a lot of work, but the possibilities are endless. This is a very powerful message to all the aspiring borrower agents who intend to build on OCEN 4.0 framework. It's a large opportunity for early adopters to be a PSP equivalent of OCEN. As with UPI, PSPs like BharatPay, PhonePe, being the early adopters, became prominent apps. It is a similar opportunity for the borrower agents. And what better time than now? With this, I would like to hand over to Ashish, our fellow volunteer, for some very interesting insights.
So thank you, Rahul, for helping us understand the economics of short tenure and small ticket loans and bringing to fore the role of a borrower's agent in the OCEN ecosystem. Now let us understand the various business models that can be adopted by a borrower's agent. As we have understood that borrower's agent doesn't just connect the borrowers and lenders, but he also takes up certain tasks under the lending workflow, which were historically managed by the lenders. By taking up these tasks on a huge volume of borrowers, he stands a chance to create a resounding value for himself. The four stages where we feel that there is a huge potential of unlocking value through monetization for a borrower's agent are sourcing, underwriting, disbursement, and collections. A borrower's agent can charge either the borrower or lender for every loan application or loan offer or loan disbursement as per his business model. We highly recommend that the charges are levied against loan disbursement as there will be an incentive for higher loan conversion here. Further, a borrower's agent can also charge a lender for the derived data that he is providing against his borrowers for the purpose of underwriting. Apart from sourcing and underwriting, there are two other operational areas where a BA can make money from lenders, which are disbursement and collections. A borrower's agent can offer to manage loan disbursal with an end-use control for the lender. He can also offer a collection mechanism where he can charge the lender either against the contacts that he has made for collections or for the successful collections. Again, we recommend the latter here to incentivize higher repayments. So these are the four areas: sourcing, underwriting, disbursement, and collections, where a borrower's agent can make money. Just a note here, outsourcing these functions to a borrower's agent is solely at the discretion of the lender. The lender may very well choose to take up this task all by himself. So with OCEN, every borrower's agent has a potential to move away from a service model of a DSA to a platform business model. As we all know, a platform business model possesses extremely high value and scalability. You can take the example of Policy Bazaar, where insurers literally rush to them to have their products onboarded on their platform. Or let's say a distributor of FMCG goods like cold drinks or soaps, where MNCs consider them as their lifelines for driving the sales of their goods. A borrower's agent has the potential to move to such a platform economy. To reach there, we recommend that he starts by launching T4 products. As we have covered in the past open houses, a T4 or a Type 4 product is the one which has control over the end use as well as the collections. Such products drive higher lender interests as they have higher risk controls. Once a T4 product is launched, a borrower's agent should focus on building volumes. That is, he should add higher number of borrowers and lenders to his ecosystem. With T4 products and higher volumes of borrowers and lenders, the borrower's agent will experience a very rich data of loan disbursals, by assessing which he can further create tailored products as per the evolving needs of his ecosystems. These new products can also include T2 and T3 types, where there is a control either over the collections or the disbursement or the end usage. It is through this industrialization of credit products that will effectively transform a borrower's agent from being a service provider to a platform, thereby unlocking massive value for himself. So now, why should a borrower's agent tap these monetization models and aspire to platformize his business by transitioning to OCEN? We have three reasons for this. The first is standardized integration. Every fintech or a borrower's agent will understand how painful it is to do custom integrations with individual lenders. With OCEN's standard APIs, the integration process gets streamlined, thereby enabling faster time to market and allowing scalability. The next is organic lender attraction. With OCEN's participant registry, lenders can easily identify different networks and get associated with the ones relevant to their business models. thus enabling seamless matchmaking between the lenders and the borrower's agent. And the third and the final point is enhanced product discovery. With the participant in the product registry, lenders can easily figure out the existing credit needs of the various ecosystems and the loan products that are already present, and thereby create new niche products which would have been difficult on a business as usual basis for them. So with these three reasons, we feel are critical through which the lenders and borrowers agent are able to build partnerships, create new products, and take them rapidly to the market. This is what enables the creation of a multi-product, multi-lender ecosystem that will, as we have said in the past, drive the Cambrian explosion of credit products. With this, we would like to re-emphasize once again the criticality of a borrower's agent for the OCEN ecosystem. We feel that borrower's agent is this network's linchpin. He is someone who stitches the network, who drives the volumes, and controls the data and operations, thereby reducing the costs of credit for borrowers. And while he does that, he has a strong potential to create commercial value for himself by taking up the critical task associated with the lending. Effectively speaking, a borrower's agent has the potential to be a player who drives this credit economy without having any loan book. Now we'll see what is been happening in the OCEN 4.0's Wave 1. The Wave 1 has already garnered interest from leading borrowers, agents, and lenders across India. Some of the credit products registered in this wave range from agri and dairy loans, blue collar and MSME loans, to Horeca loans, to loans for GST repayments. Some of these loans are already pre-integrated with the government agencies like Telangana Dairy Association. There are more than 25 credit products already in place and many more getting created as we speak. All these loan products that we spoke of have a ticket size varying between 2,000 to 2 lakh rupees and tenure being less than 3 months, with some being as low as a single day. The repayment options include bullet repayments, easy daily, and monthly repayment. With this, we would like to talk about two extremely niche and impactful credit products that are being led by respective pioneers in these areas. These are the dairy loans to village dairy entrepreneurs from Spice Money and chili loans from Human Ventures. Ajay Desai from Spice Money and Karthik Iyer from Human Ventures will take us through these products. Over to you, Ajay.
The dairy ecosystem in India is one of the largest agri value chain in the world. And within that, we have got the private dairy ecosystem as a sub-segment, which is also growing in a big way. This private dairy ecosystem depends a lot on a village level milk aggregator called village dairy entrepreneur. This is the person who collects milk from hundreds of farmers, and to ensure the continuous milk supply, he also provides advance to them, as well as provides all the inputs required for dairy farming like cattle feed and veterinary service on credit. This person has been doing this business for a long time, but this is not a formally recognized business for the lending fraternity. So all the money that the VD requires is raised from his personal capital. We are trying to change this situation by introducing small value sachet credit in this ecosystem by providing a loan for the cattle feed purchase using the OCEN platform and reaching to various lenders. In this arrangement, our idea is that the VDE will get option of choosing any cattle feed supplier of his choice and also get some cash discount for making the cash payment immediately. And for this purpose, the lender will sanction a loan to the VDE, but the disbursement will directly happen to the cattle feed supplier's account. This is how we are achieving the disbursement control in this model. And for the repayment control, the dairy will make payment to the lender directly while calculating the payment dues to the VDE. This way, the OCEN platform can help connect the small village level entrepreneur with any national level lender who is willing to join this platform. And this is the beauty of OCEN platform, where all these dots can be connected. And in this network, dairy is acting as a derived data provider, which will give us the past track record of the VDE. Disbursement control is achieved by paying directly to the cattle feed supplier. Collection control has achieved by the dairy paying directly to lender. And Spice Money will be acting as a loan agent in the system. This is a new initiative that we are trying out for the dairy ecosystem in India. Now I'm requesting Karthik to talk a bit about the chili ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Ajay. Just as a background, this is the beauty of the OCEN platform, that we'll be able to give a lot of flavors to the lenders. So one can actually see that how diverse is this platform, like dairy on one end and the program that we are introducing. Human Ventures is an Agri Fintech. We work with small and marginal farmers. This program actually is called as Rapid Economic Transformation for smallholder farmers, where we are increasing their income from the present 15,000 rupees per acre per annum to over 1.5 lakh rupees per acre per annum, causing 10x income increase, and that too within 6 months. So this present program, actually ACRES is an acronym. ACRES stands for Agriculture with Climate Resilient and Sustainable Practices. So while the small farmers will not understand this, we have kept this program very colloquial, called as ACRES Mirchi Set program. We had already 2 years back, we had done the first demonstration farm of 1 acre, where we had actually achieved 1 acre level dynamics, where we had sprouted 10 tons of green chilies, which dried and became 2 tons of red chilies. Last year, during the same Rabi season, we did this whole program with 50 farmers in a place called as Parli Vaijnath near Latur in Maharashtra, which is called as Marathwada region. And all the 50 farmers experienced their incomes increase from 15,000 rupees out of plantation of say soya or cotton. And the farmers who undertook this program increased their income by about 1.5 lakh rupees to about 3 lakh rupees per acre within 6 months. Now with the success of this program, we are rolling this out in 3 states now with 1,500 farmers in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Odisha. Following is what is the broad contours of this program. Now, red chilies is a product which all of us consume. And like I told you, the whole project dynamics are all set in 1 acre basis. So while we'll have 1,500 farmers, everyone will undergo the same agricultural practices in 1 acre. The best part of this is unique input, which is the seed. So we are giving one identifiable seed across this entire 1,000 farming cluster across 3 states. So there won't be any variable in input. Along with this seed, we are also giving something called as package of practices that the farmer needs to follow. You would all have seen that a traditional agriculture would be wherein somebody basically does channel irrigation and just puts water. While we said it is climate resilient, therefore this is one of the key criteria for every farmer, and this is mandatory, where the farmer requires to install drip irrigation and mulching in the farm. Now 2 lakh is the overall cultivation cost and 1.5 lakh rupees is the loan amount. The product design that we are currently evaluating is bullet in loan and bullet out repayment. So the harvest cycle begins from February, March and April. So the sowing time starts in the month of October, which is just now. This year, 2023, October will be the sowing time, and harvest happens in February, March and April. So it can be a 6 to 7 month loan, wherein there could be a bullet payment to the farmer and the bullet repayment from the farmer at the end of the harvest period. We have arranged for all input materials and all vendors have been identified, and the contractors who will execute this program at the farm level. One of the most critical part in any farming, and that anyone has a big challenge, is where do we get the buyers for the chilies? The red chilies have good shelf life, and therefore a buyer has already been identified for this program. So the way the program has been designed is that first you have the program layer, second the program is embedded with a credit layer. And number three, the success of the program is being confirmed by a buyer who is basically available even before the plantation has taken place. The other two things which are in finalization are chili insurance for the first time in India for this cluster. And we are also evaluating something called as a price guarantee insurance with 150 rupees as a minimum support price for this cluster. Now, beauty of this is that this is done on a project finance kind of a framework, wherein all the project costs are loaded into the project cost, and that's what is a 2 lakh cultivation cost that is arrived at, out of which 1.5 lakh is the loan component. Post formation of this program, Gram Sabhas are being conducted as we speak, and farmers are being onboarded. Now, once the cluster is basically built and the plantation has started, the farmers have to follow a package of practices. We work with ground partners who are the outreach partners for the farmers, and they, through our system, basically implement the entire SOPs on the ground for the farmers. There are periodic checks, monitoring. In case there are any weather related issues, we work with the seed company who help us with botanical and pathological support. We also facilitate post harvest on segregation of the product, aggregating the product at a cluster level, and sale to the identified buyer. And this is what basically results in settling the loans at that. So we undertake to even settle these loans after the harvest has happened. The estimated revenue, as I told you, 10 tons of green chilies dry and become 2 tons of red chilies, which is 2000 kilos. And the going average rate on a wholesale market is about 250 rupees. So around 5 lakh rupees is a total revenue. So if we take the cultivation cost of anywhere between 2 to 2.5 lakh rupees per acre, the balance, which is again 2.5 to 2 lakh rupees, is the total profit for the farmer, out of which 1.5 lakh rupees is paid off by the farmer. So still the farmer achieves 1.5 lakh rupees. This is how the program basically that we have been doing for the last 2 years. We are going to replicate it in 3 states now. Can we go to the next slide, please? So we undertake the entire data through our system, which will be integrated with the OCEN system, and that will be provided to the lenders. The disbursement control is in a mechanism where the money directly goes to the empanel vendors, and this doesn't go to the farmer. We undertake collection post the harvest season and return this money to the lenders, and that's how we are acting as a loan agent. There are 3 fundamental things that we do for a lender. One is end-use confirmation. All of you had seen that if you lend to the rural sector, there is no end-use confirmation. The farmer might basically go and purchase a mobile phone instead of purchasing the saplings. That is something we take care. Second, end-use monitoring. That is very important. The saplings, if the saplings have been planted, then what happens if the saplings die? So end-use monitoring is critical. And finally, how this loan will be repaid, that is as a part of the loan repayment mechanism, is something that we have put. We have also worked out a lot of risk and other mitigants, and how the whole SOPs will be practiced across the cluster, and that is how we are now able to onboard all these farmers and then present it on the OCEN platform for the lenders to evaluate their suitability. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Ajay and Karthik. Now that you understood the role of a borrower's agent and the strong potential that he holds in the OCEN ecosystem, I'd like to sum this discussion up with the factors that can help a borrower's agent to win. This will start with the borrower intimacy. This is through which a borrower's agent can create relevant products, as we saw was the case with the chili loans and dairy loans. This will translate into higher loan requests. A borrower's agent should also enable smarter journeys in his application to ensure lesser borrower dropouts. Once the borrowers are taken care of, a borrower's agent should ensure that he has the right set of products that will attract the interest of the lenders. With T4 products and rich underwriting data, a BA can ensure the same, thereby attracting lenders and enabling lower rate of interest for the borrowers. Now, with both lenders and borrowers satisfied, the next step for a borrower's agent should be to focus on maintaining the quality of the network with robust guidelines to keep it flourishing. As an example of this could be what some of the platforms have adopted with their networks, where they keep a threshold for offer to application ratio and maintain a cap on the interest rates. Such best practices prevent participants from wavering off, thereby keeping the network effective. We believe these are the factors that can help a borrower's agent make a killing with OCEN. So thank you again would like to thank you for attending this open house. In the future, we'll be having some more open houses. The first one would be the open house on lenders, and that will be followed by a live Q&A wherein we'll address all the questions that you have. You can access all the documentations and APIs of OCEN at oken.dev. If you are interested in participating as a loan agent or a lender or a TSP, feel free to fill the Google form that is on your screen. Thank you once again for attending.